And Josh, me too. I'm just here to teach him how to I'll be back here with this.
He's mad.
What's up, dog? I take a bandana on.
Ooh, you got hurt because the basket. I'm like, no, you ain't sick now.
What you say? That's a nice time. That's what it's
What is she playing? Jay.
Let us worship and bow down. Let us live before the Lord. For the Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth come aside. The hour have come, and now is when the true worship to worship the Father in spirit and in truth. God is the spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. Let's be like the psalmist said, I was glad when they say, let us come into the house of the Lord. So let's get ready to joyfully worship the Lord in spirit and in truth. Let us pray. My gracious Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come before you. We know that we are not worthy, but we thank you for the shed blood of Jesus Christ, that we have remission of sins. And all we have to do is confess our sins, and you are faithful and just forgive us our sins and clean us from all unrighteousness. We thank you for the many blessings that we have. We thank you for every father that's present here today. We thank you for this opportunity we have that we can enjoy your presence today, because you say we're 2 or 3 are gathered, and I will be, you come to be in our midst. May we even leave here today that we are saying that we know that the Lord was in this place by our personal experience and worship engaging with you. Now, my gracious Father, will come to you and pray that you would just empower the speaker today, give him your words, help him to decrease in order that you may increase. And Father, give us listening and attending here. And you have named it, so we claim the promise that your word won't turn back to your voice. May it have the effect that you intend for it to have in the very life that's represented here today. And Father God, we pray for the choir. Help them, fill them with your Holy Spirit, that they may be able to sing your Zion song. And Father God, we pray for everybody that's set in the pew. We got different needs. All of us have these needs. But you have come to provide all of our needs according to your riches and glory. Some may be financial, some may be physical, some may be psychological, some may be whatever the need is. We know that you are capable, you are able to bless us exceedingly abundantly above all that we are able to think of that. And we claim that bless the urgent says it's standing to go. Bless the gifts that we're going to pick up in the givers of the gift. And bless those who want to give that don't have the means to give, but with the same magnitude of blessing. In Jesus' name, this is our prayer. And we yield ourselves to you for worship right now. Help us to lift up the name of Jesus, because you said that he be lifted up. You as well, all men unto you. love this very man. Let the choir come in while everybody else is selling beat the heart. We can see choir go ahead and give us a number, and then we'll do our responsibility. Verse 1 through 11 and 19 and 20. Find the program. Here is to the instruction of Paul. And attending to no understanding, for I give you wisdom, for say ye not my law.
Father, my Son, and all the blood inside of my mother. He taught me also and said unto me, let thy heart retain my word, keep my commandments and live. Give wisdom, give understanding, give power. Be under the right hand word of my heart.
Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore, get wisdom. And with all thy getting, get an understanding. Exalt her, and she shall promote thee. She will bring thee to honor. When thou doest embrace her, shall give to thine head in honor of the race or a crown of glory shall she deliver to thee.
Hear, O my son, and receive my saying, and the years of thy life shall be many. I have taught thee the way of wisdom. I have led thee in the right path. When thou goest, thy steps shall not be straight, and when thou runnest, thou shalt not stumble.
To the ways of wicked is as darkness, that they shall know not at what they stop. My son, attend to my words, incline thy ears unto my saying. Let them not depart from thy eyes, keep them in the midst of thy heart.
For they are life to those that find them, and therefore all their flesh. Ye have heard our diligence, for our is
Amen. Put that happy Father Day, please, to read the Holy Scripture, have inspired our Father to get wisdom, and then share that wisdom with their children. And the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. Amen. Happy Father Day. All quiet, now,
I give myself away, so you can see. I give myself away. I give myself away, so you can see. I give myself away. I give myself away, so you can use. I give myself away. I give myself away, so you can use. Heal my hand. Heal myself. Your mind is in your hand. Lord, I'm to see your desire. I give myself away. Give myself away, so you can use me. I give myself away. I give myself away, so you can use me. Take my heart, take my life. There's a living sacrifice. Don't Lord, I place them in your hands. Give myself away. Give myself away, so you can take it all. Give myself away. Give myself away, so you can take myself away.
That's what it said in Romans 8, Corinthians 8, 2 Corinthians, not 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians 2, 8 and 9 say, what helps the church to give, they, in the different, it say they gave themselves to God first. See, if you give yourself to God, it'd be easy to give him some of your finances. Because if you're giving you, he got your pocketbook. He got your heart, pocketbook, all of it. We are the Lord. It all belongs to the Lord. But the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. And he don't want you to give it all to him. He said, give me 10% and give me an offering. Then I'm going to use that. I'll tell you, you can't bank in no better place than the heaven bank. He said, if you invest in my bank, you make a deposit, 10% and an offering, I will open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing going out room. And they say, do it in a good attitude. Now that exciting you need that kind of blessing. Don't give grudgingly. Don't give of necessity. But yes, you might well enjoy giving. Now don't go there. I ain't gonna say, some people say, well, if you're gonna give grudgingly, you're gonna give that shit, you might not give, I ain't gonna take that out. I don't care how you give this deal. But the best thing to do is give cheerfully. But God knew it was gonna be some people that give complaining about that. And that's what that helps you to give. Listen, there is a necessity. We need to get up to $16,000 for our church annual. I'm giving another $935. They're gonna put me up to $4,500. And I don't think we got too much more than $9,000. Now you're not gonna let your pastor give half of what we got. That just don't. I know you're not gonna do that. But we need to move with the giving. We only got 2 more Sundays to give. And we're probably not gonna run for 1 more Sunday after. But we're not gonna beg on all that. I've got to retreat now. So in the next 2 Sundays, let's try to give what we're gonna give. And let's move on and smell better. Let me say something too, because I don't like nobody saying about our guest speaker. He has some circumstances that develop in his life, and he's going to make some arrangements and come anyway. But it involves a 94-year-old mother, and she with them that wasn't supposed to be with them. From Oklahoma. Most of you know that used to go home. We call her rapper grandma. She's 94 years old. When she got a condition where she won't be able to travel with him, first she would travel with him. And he was going to go and make some arrangements and come by himself or get somebody else from the church to come with him. So So I decided that I think it would be selfish of us to inconvenience him and not to be there for his family. So we decided, probably I end up teaching before, so don't get disappointed you come here Sunday. And I might have we do it's our anniversary.
Amen.
We can preach it.
Amen.
And we have to, that way we can put the change against that 16,000 that you were going by. So let's just still come together. Let's fill this church up. You know, members that already been sent some out, dispatch them, they come to be here. I've been talking to some, you know, your children and your relatives and members. Encourage them to be here to help us celebrate 70 years. That same day would be my birthday. So we'll be the same age. So I'll be preaching on my birthday. I'll be working on my birthday, but that's all right. Ain't nothing like working on the Lord. It's good. It's good to be on the Lord. You know, the Lord might take me on from the book. That's a good way to do. But don't look at me. You probably better thing for you to be in from church. If you catch you somewhere else, you might not want to do that. You're good, you're good. So let's get our tithes and offering. And I was talking about you get ready, and let's put something, you know, as an extra month's time. That's what we do for 2 times. You got that extra, you can do that. So I done did over extra month time, and I'm probably going to give some more before the pastor ends. But this is what I'm giving up in part time. About between now and the pastor ends, I'll probably try to give another 5. So I'm around 5,000, but I won't give the other 5 till sometime before I couple guys to retreat. I want us to participate in retreat. I'm going to take time to say this, let's get over it. Because we want to maximize that participation too. And so we want to get that in. And so we want to not be stingy when we're going on vacation. That's fine. I love that. But we do what we want to do. Amen. So let's go on and do something for the Lord, for the ministry. And overall, you're doing something for yourself. Don't miss it. Because it's a few minutes more. I pay for myself, my wife. I pay about $1,300. If I can pay for my grandchildren, or whatever, my mother-in-law, my mother, you know. And so if I can do that, then $1,300, you can pay for $85 or $90 for yourself. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's be they do it. And I know they want to do this. I know they want to do this. So I got confidence. And by the way, I was pleased Wednesday. I appreciate the crowd that we had. We looked at like we want to start. In fact, that's probably what we'll be preaching on, the signs of a healthy open church. And that's one of the signs. So we're going to check the Bible sign next time. See how healthy you are. So keep, now, every time I brag on you, not every time, a lot of times I brag on you going to start. Then I come Wednesdays in the feed. When 2 or 3 are gathered my name down. Don't do it like that. So let's keep coming about it. I'm encouraged that says something about you. And it says something about you. So I appreciate your participation. Okay? We're going to do it? All we're going to do is say amen. Let us still. Hands there.
Well, please stand up for prayer. Don't leave me. Oh, don't you leave me. Oh, don't leave me. Don't leave me. Oh, don't you leave me. Oh, don't leave me. Don't leave me. Holy Ghost, oh, don't you leave me. Holy Ghost, don't leave me. Guide me on my way. That's where I'm going from. Holy Ghost, don't leave me. Holy Ghost, oh, don't leave me. Holy Ghost, don't leave me. Guide me on my way. Don't leave me. Oh, don't you leave me. Holy Ghost, don't leave me. Guide me on my way. Don't leave me. Oh, don't you leave me. Holy Ghost, don't leave me. Guide me on my Jesus. So sweet, anointing in the sanctuary. There is a stillness in the atmosphere. Oh, come lay down the burdens you have carried, for in the sanctuary, God is here. There is a sweet anointing in the sanctuary. There is a stillness in the atmosphere. Oh, come lay down the burdens you There is a sweet anointing in the sanctuary. There is a stillness in the atmosphere. Oh, come lay down the burden you have carried, for in the sanctuary, He is here. God is to break me up and lift the heavy Oh, God is here. Oh, He's here to. He's here to mend your fear. He's here to heal your hurt. Oh, thank you for keeping your angels around. Letting us know that you're always you always need to be the end of the earth. God is like where is He? He's here. He's here to heal your heart. If you need healing tonight, if you need deliverance tonight, we need you, God. We need you to speak, God. Speak, Lord, speak. While we're here, we need to hear your voice. Speak, oh Lord. We need you to speak to us, Jesus. Speak, Lord, speak. Oh, speak to our lives, Lord. Speak, oh, speak. Lord, this life in us, which is pursuing Christ Jesus. Oh, speak, Lord. We need to speak right now. Oh, we want to hear your voice, Jesus. We want to hear your voice, Jesus. Speak, Lord. Speak to us, Jesus. Speak, Lord. Speak, Lord. Speak to our heart, Lord. Speak, Lord. Speak, Lord. If you got to focus, speak, Lord. Speak, Lord. We want you to hear your voice. Speak, Lord. Speak, Lord, speak, Lord. Speak to our hearts, Lord. Speak, Lord, speak, Lord. Somebody's praying for you. Jesus, Lord, speak, Lord. We need your voice to be heard. Speak, Lord, speak, Lord. Speak to our churches, Lord. Oh, come lay down the burdens you have carried, for is the sanctuary. God is here. Let the church say amen. Let the church, everybody say amen. God is moving. So let the church say amen. Can I get a witness? Let the church say amen. Let the church say amen. God is moving. Let the church say amen. Great is your response. Amen. Whatever you say, amen. From the healing of your body, amen. To the raising of the amen. No matter how you feel, amen. Or how you was feel, amen. How you will do tonight, amen. Because you always amen. Lift your hands wherever you are and let the church. Let the church say amen. Let the church say amen. God is spoken. Hallelujah. Let the church say amen. With a word from the Lord, we carry so. Let the church say amen. Let the church say amen. God is spoken. Let the church say amen.
Amen means we agree to what the Lord says. Amen. Early this morning, we been hearing God's word. Amen. All day. Amen. Learning about salvation and how it benefits us in so many ways. Turn your Bibles to Job chapter 29. Job 29. I've said this before, but it's funny to me. When I first started coming to church, sitting in the back, pastor said, turn to Job. And I said, I don't think Caleb was really paying attention. Well, I thought she was. I said, Caleb, turn to Job. He does. He said, boy, that's Job. So turn to Job chapter 29. It's right before Psalms. Right after Esther. We're going to read one verse. But we're going to go through the chapter because it lets us know what a true godly dad looks like. Look at Job. Way to go, Job. Verse 1 and 2 says, Job further continues his discourse and said, oh, that I were as in months past, as in the days when God watched over me. You may be seated. He's talking about his relationship with God. I looked up the history of Father's Day, and I found that it was started by Miss Sonora died when she was 16. Her father had become a widow, and he had to take care of her and her 5 brothers. And so she was sitting at church one Sunday hearing the Mother's Day sermon, and the idea came to her that we need to have Father's Day, Dad's Day, to show appreciation to her father. And her father's birthday was in early June. But through her convincing talk, she got her church to start it. And they started it in the middle of June. Because they said, if we do, give us to the middle of June, we'll have time to prepare for it. So that's the reason why we have Father's Day. Because of Miss Sonora died. Thank you. We appreciate it, all the dads. So on the first Father's Day, it took place in Spokane, Washington, where the men that were still alive wore red roses, and the ones that were deceased, their family members wore white roses. And that was the first Father's Day in Spokane, Washington, in the early 1900s. All right? I got a dad joke for you. I'm taking my time. I really appreciate being in this position. Because the Lord got it to where I've been preaching on the holidays, Easter, Father's Day, except Mother's Day. And I'm gonna take advantage of it, amen.
Amen.
You wanna hear a kid? You wanna hear a cat joke? Y'all wanna hear a cat joke? Just kidding. Just kidding. I got another. What do you call a pig that does kung fu? Come on, y'all. Oh, guys. Pork chop. What do you call a pig that knows kung fu? Pork chop. Pork chop. All right. All right. We're good now. So in Job 29, we're going to look at three things. The relationship Job had with God, how Job was respected in his community, and Job as a wise counselor. Amen. So verse 1 says, "Oh, that I were as in the months past, as in the days when God watched over me, when his lamp showed upon my head, and when by his light I walked through the darkness." In Job 29, he was closing his defense, and he started remembering his days with God, the good days. And in Job chapter 1, it gives us a summary on how they were. So let's turn to Job chapter 1 and see how God blessed Job before his crisis came. Job 1 verse 1 says, "There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was blameless and upright, and one who feared God and shunned evil." Blameless don't mean perfect. It doesn't mean he don't sin. What it does mean is that if you try to pin something on him, it wouldn't stick.
All right.
See, as dads, we don't want to be perfect. We don't claim to be perfect, even though we may say things that sound like we're perfect, or if somebody question them, like one of your kids that always say why, you say no, don't ask why, just do it, because I'm telling you to do it. Glory. See the one. Oh, it's all good. It's all good. Yes, and I got this in my notes too. We all have kids like that. That questions why, which is good. Job was blameless. He was an upright man. He did things right. The truth followed Job. He didn't get into these petty arguments of not facts. He dealt with the facts. He was upright, giving it to you straight. It goes on to say that he feared God. Proverbs 1 says, "The beginning of knowledge is the fear of God." He understood who had him in his position. He understood that his kids, his wealth, his respect came from the one and only true God. And he shunned evil. If he was tempted to go left, he went right. If somebody came to him with gossip, he shut it down. He shunned evil. He didn't like people that tried to get over on other people. Manipulation. Speaking of manipulation, yesterday morning when I was reading over my notes, something popped on my computer screen saying that I had a virus with a number to call. So I called the number. I did. I was like, what is going on with my laptop? I called that number. I don't remember the first guy name that helped me, but he hung up on me. I guess that's the trick to make you in. And then I called back a second time, and the guy was like, "Don't worry, sir. We're gonna take care of you. We're gonna take care of you." And I'm saying, "Sir, I really need some help. I'm studying. I'm trying to get ready for tomorrow, thinking that'll, help me out some." It didn't. He didn't even acknowledge that, which is not the point. But he was going on and on, giving me these websites to type in. And I typed it in. Some software came up that exposed all my passwords that I had on my computer. So at that moment, I got up and said, "Kayla, I need some help." She was knocked out. I woke up. I said, Caleb, please, you gotta wake up. The guy was like, sir, you need to go to your bank account, Capital One Regions and all that. Really? And he had it together. He was like feeling sorry for me and all that stuff. And Caleb said, hang up that phone. I said, Caleb, but my computer is messed up. He said, it's a hacker. And so I went back to my computer, talking to him, and I started laughing because it dawned on me. See, as a man, we don't know it all. We don't have all the answers. And Kayla let me know that. But this is what I came back with. I said, see, that's why God gave you me. So I have the fortitude and the wisdom to come to you when I get in trouble. And that's why God gave me her. So that person could help me in times like that. And it wasn't small, because if I would have continued on with this man, he would have got everything. So this would happen. In the middle of him talking, I started laughing. And he was like, sir, what is funny? In his Indian accent. I was like, sir, this don't add up. He was like, well, sir, if you want some help, you need to stop laughing and concentrate. And so it was a moment of silence. You know that awkward moment of silence? And he was like, sir, do you want me to help you? I was like, I think I'm going to be all right. He said, sir, check this out. He said, sir, you are good for nothing. And he hung up the phone. No lie. And so I called back that number, wasting my time. The busy signal, I kept getting the busy signal. And I said, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I got up. I didn't let my pride get in the way. I asked Kayla for her help. She told me what was going on. God had to say, hey, this is not right. You need to shake this guy. In other words, shun evil.
All right.
It could be something like that, or it could be other people trying to get you off the track on what you need to do in life. See, Job, he didn't worry about that. He shunned the evil. In verse 2 of Job 1, it says he had 7 sons and 3 daughters. In verse 3, I like verse 3. Also, his possessions were 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 female donkeys. Job was paid, y'all. That's a good daddy right there. So that implies that he got up and he worked. He had a good relationship with God. God showed him how the game goes, and he made his money the honest way. And his sons would go feast in their houses, each on his appointed day, and would send and invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. Verse 5 says, so it was when the days of the feasting had run their course, that Job would sin and sanctify them, and he would rise early in the morning and offer burnt offerings. Job was a dad that got up in the morning and prayed for his kids. He understood that this world is cold. It's cutthroat. It will chew you up and spit you out. So he got up and he prayed for his kids, that they will be godly kids and do the right things. Job 29, verse 5 says, when the Almighty was yet with me, when my children were around me, when my steps were bathed with cream, and the rock poured out rivers all for me. Cream and oil represent wealth, prosperity. Job had it all, y'all. His relationship with God blessed him. Blessed him. What a dad. What a dad. Job also said, I believe, that by studying God's word, he will stay on the straight and narrow path. Maybe this morning, you're a dad, we're dads that don't have it all together like Job had in chapter 1. I would like for you to listen to the words of Jabez and what he said. First Chronicles chapter 4, Jabez gives us a description on how to call out to God and be the man God wants us to be. Let me get to it. First Chronicles chapter 4, verse 10. Jabez's name in Hebrew means pain. Pain. Verse 10 says, and Jabez called on God of Israel. We see right there that Jabez had enough of his pride, enough of himself doing it wrong. He called on God. He called on the one that made everything. He looked at his circumstances and said, this not going to get it. I'm tired of causing pain for whoever, but I want to do it right, Lord. So he called on God. Do we call on God when we are going through troubles? Do we call on God when we can't figure certain things out? Do we call on God when we tell our kids that this is the right way, but they choose to do it the other way? Do we call on God? And he said, oh, you would bless me indeed. He straight out and asked God, I need a blessing, God. I need a blessing. Indeed, in Hebrew, it's like you write a sentence and put 5 exclamation points at the end of that sentence. Or so when you text and you text in bold, you see an email in bold because you want this person to get it. That's what indeed means. He said, bless me indeed and enlarge my territory. Expand my borders. I want to be a giver for you. I want you to use me in ways that I never could imagine. And he also said that your hand would be with me. See, after he asked for that blessing and that expanding of his territory, he knew that the only way to keep going, to finish strong, like Paul told Timothy, is God's hand had to be on him. To be on him, guiding him when wickedness comes. And that you will keep me from evil. It's a lot of evil out here. Jabez knew it. We know it too, Dad. It's evil out here, from pornography sites to liquor at the liquor store. It's evil out here. That I may cause no more pain. You see that in verse 10? His name means pain. And at the end of his prayer, he says, I don't want to cause any more pain. I've caused pain in my marriage with my kids, being too strict at times. But as I get older, I'm learning. What about you, Dad? And look at the last sentence in this prayer. Job, 1 Chronicles 4:10. It says, so God granted him what he requested. See, if he would have started off this prayer and didn't mean it, God wouldn't have gave it to him. But we know from the story of Daniel that God sees the inside. He knows the truth. He knows our motives. He sees it. So it's simple as what Jabez said. Be honest with God. Ask him for more. Ask him for wisdom like Solomon did. And he will give it to you. James said, upbraid it not. Once he gives it to you, he won't take it from you. But you can't be double-minded. That's how you can have a relationship with God like Job. Now let's look at how Job had respect in his community. Job was the man. Daddy Job. Look at Job. When I went out to the gate by the city, verse 7 in Job 29, verse 7. When I took my seat in the open square, the young men saw me and hid. Meaning they saw me and they respected me. If they saw me walking through, they moved out the way. They held the door for me. Not because Job was cocky, but he put in work to earn their respect. Verse 9, second part of verse 8 says, and the age arose and stood. In them days, that was unheard of at times. These were older men that stood up for Job, that recognized, Job, you walk with God. You the man. Oh, Daddy Job, look at Job. Verse 9 says, the princes refrained from talking and put their hand on their mouth. Meaning, when he walked through the door, whatever he was about to say, what they were saying wasn't that important. And it was all stemming from respect, y'all. Not that he was cocky, arrogant, He walked with God. He was a humble dude. Verse 10 says, and the voice of the nobles hushed, and their tongue stuck to the roof of their mouth. When the ear heard, then it blessed me. And when the eye saw it, then it approved me. Job was so highly respected that whatever he said, it was right. They may not agree, but it has some goodness in it. The blessing of perishing man came upon me, and I caused the widow's heart to sing for joy. We're in verse 13, but I skipped this part. The fatherless and the one who had no helper, because I delivered the poor who cried out. See, verse 12 is telling us why he had that respect. His talk matched his walk. In verse 12 it says, because I delivered the poor who cried out. He did something in his community. He started programs. He helped people who cried out, the fatherless, the orphans, the one who had no help. The blessing of the perishing man came upon me, and I caused the widow's heart to sing for joy. Can you hear it now? The women singing. Job gonna make it all right. Thank you, Job. Not Job, they were worshiping. It was God in Job. Verse 14 says, I put on my righteousness, and it clothed me. My justice was like a robe and a turban. It was all justice, all right for Job. Job wouldn't have been a popular guy these days. Have you ever noticed the dads that's strict to an extent, but don't drop your standards? That want you to do it right, give it your all, trust in yourself. Don't worry about other people's opinions so much, or not that popular. Have you noticed that?
Yes. Yes.
Have you noticed on TV how they make dads out to be dummies, let anything slide, don't have no sense? Have you noticed that? Thank God for Job 29. Thank you, Lord, that we can see how a real man is when he worships God. Thank you, because at times I need to go to Job and see Job. They say you had all the patience in the world, and you went through all this bad stuff. But Job, where is anything good in your word, Job, in your book, Job, and it's right here in Job 29. Verse 15 says, I was eyes to the blind and I was feet to the lame. So he helped the ones that couldn't help themselves. He was a man of action, not just talk. That's why he was so respected when he stepped in the room. Because he did what he's supposed to do. He set the great example. Verse 16 says, I was the father to the poor, and I searched out the case that I did not know. So he helped people he didn't even know. But he searched, and he got to the root of the problem. I know some of us don't like to go to certain people because they're going to get to the root of the problem. You come to me, you're going to get to the root of the problem. Because that's what helped me in my life. I got to the root of the problem. I was Jabez, not knowing what to do with my life. But I called on God. Yes. And he helped me. Job was a man that got to the root of the problem. I broke the fangs of the wicked, of the oppressor, and plucked the victim from his teeth. He was a man of action. And after that, Job is telling his three friends that's blaming him in verse 18. Then I said, I shall die in my nest and multiply my days as the sand. So he understood, he believed that God will give him the years to die peacefully and multiply my days as the sand. My root is spread out to the waters. Psalm 1 says, and the dew lies all night on my branch. My glory is fresh within me, and my bow is renewed in my hand. So Job was the man. He trusted God, and he knew God was going to bless him to see old age, to continue helping people, teaching people, reaching people, If we want to do that dance, we gotta eat better. We gotta drink more water. We gotta exercise. We gotta get sleep. Verse 21 says, it starts off that he's a wise counselor, Job. Job was the man. Job was the man. Look at Job go. Verse 21 says, men listened to me and waited and kept silence for my counsel. So he had a ministry. What he used in his ministry? My guess is the word of God. He used the word. After my words, they did not speak again, and my speech settled on them as dew. It was satisfying, refreshing. He had something new to bring to the table. And my speech settled on them as dew, and they waited for me as for rain. They were waiting for Job to come. What time is Job coming to this meeting? Y'all not talking about nothing. We need Job to tell us something we can take and apply and help other people. It says in verse 24, if I mocked at them, they did not believe it. In the light of my countenance, they did not cast down. Meaning, Job has so much influence, the right godly influence. You ever had somebody that gave you that like nod of approval? Like that I see you? Have you? It's a good feeling, right? They don't have to say nothing. But you know they see you, and they see you doing the right thing. And you waiting for that person to say it. That's the type of influence Job had on people. Verse 25 says, I chose to wait for them and sat as sheep. See, he helped people. Not in a cocky, arrogant way, like I said, but a humble, solid, truthful way. So I dwelt as a king in the army, as one who comforts mourners. That's the dad that we need to be. That's the dad that we need to be. It's times when our kids say my name so much, I be like, man. But I'm learning, y'all. They saying dad and asking questions because they look to me to give them guidance. They look to me to say the right things. It could be something simple like Deuce Hill say, do you like Avengers? No, Marvel or Capcom better? Which one you like, Dad? I say, I like Marvel better. He say, me too, Dad. Or Chloe will say, Dad, what you think I should do? Wear this little rabbit ears or the others? I say, wear those, Chloe. I'm gonna wear these. Okay. Layla say, what you think, Dad? I should try for the powerlifting team or not? I say, I think you should do it, but I don't want to. Then she come home and say, Dad, I'm on the powerlifting team. And it seems like every event we go to, we see her coach. Coach Skip. And she say, Layla, you got it. He gives us the nod of approval. He gives us her the nod of approval. And that makes me feel good as a dad. Because something we are doing, they are accepting it. And they're using it. As a dad, as dads, like we are, we want our kids to be successful, right? And grow and do the right thing. I have 3 commandments of success that kids, I think you should listen to or write down, and I'm gonna say it slow. The first one is you must labor each day. You must work each day. If you got a job, go to your job. Be the best on your job. I don't care if it's Wendy's or McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's when I was in high school, and I was the only one that got a raise.
All right.
I kid you not. The manager pulled me to the side and said, you getting a raise. Don't tell nobody, you the only one. And I thought about it because one time I was mopping. I kid you not. I was mopping the floor, and my coworker said, man, you don't got to do all that. I said, man, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm mopping. It paid off. The first one, you must labor each day. You were not created for a life of idleness. You were not created to sit at home and do nothing and play video games. I like video games, but you were put here to create something, to be a pioneer, a trailblazer. Work is not your enemy, but your friend. Work not your enemy. Why I gotta work? Why I gotta do this? God told Adam, I'm gonna plant you in this garden and you're gonna work and keep it. And when he didn't act right, he said, you still gonna work. By the sweat of your brow, you're gonna earn everything you get. We were created to work. Number two, you must learn with patience. You can control your destiny if you have patience. Life is not a race. It's a marathon. I love how the commentators, the announcers, the reporters come up to the player and say after the game, so what helped you get over the hump? What helped you reach this level of success? Most of them say hard work. Hard work is hard work. The summertime, I took advantage. I got better at my skill. I struggled with free throws last year, but now I'm at 90% because I shot free throws. Instead of 100 after practice before, I'm shooting 1,000 free throws after practice now. Hard work takes hard work. Number three, you must smile in the face of adversity until it surrenders. You smile at it, you keep going because it's gonna happen. That's what me as a dad and you guys as dads should tell our kids. Adversity can be your greatest teacher. You will learn little from your victories, but when you are pushed and defeated, you will acquire great knowledge. You will. Can I tell you about my dad? Real quick, can I tell you about my dad?
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all for responding. My dad, on day one, created life.
All right.
That's my dad.
Okay.
Day two, he separated water from the space. He separated the two. Day three, he created the plants. All the plants you see, he created them. Day four, guess what he did? Guess what my dad did? My daddy did on day four. He created the sun and the moon and the stars. Day five, he created the fish and the birds. And day six, my dad, because he loved me so much, he created me.
All right.
He created me.
All right. All right.
And in Matthew chapter 6, he told me, don't worry. Don't worry about nothing. Because if I created the birds and I know when one died, you think I don't know what you going through? He told me don't worry about what I eat or what clothes I wear. Because people that's not saved worry about those things. And in John 3:16, my dad, he said, whosoever believes, which includes you and me, if we believe, like he told Nicodemus, we'll receive eternal life. Dads, if you haven't done that, what are you waiting on? Because one day, the kids are going to come up to you and say, who is Jesus?
Okay.
What did he do for you? And you can tell them that he created the earth and the light. He separated the waters. He created the plant life. He created the sun, moon, and stars. He created the fish and the birds. And on day 6, guess what, son and daughter? He created you.
All right.
He created you. Job, what a dad.
Thank you. We had an opportunity to make him your dad today. He said, let us receive him. He gave the power and the authority to become the children of God. Won't you make God your dad today? Join the family, and he will be your father. Won't you come? All you have to do is come confess the Lord Jesus with your mouth and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead. You shall be saved. You can be born again and become a child of God. A father that will never leave you and always forsake you. A father that you could go home to. A father that is preparing a place for to be with you forever and ever. Won't you come? He so loved you that he gave his only son, that if you just call upon him, he can make you his son and his daughter. Won't you come?
And I'm coming to his side, but the captain of my soul, he's always on the road. I found safety in his arms while riding through the storm. While riding through the storm, he holds me in his arms. I am not afraid of the stormy wind and the rain. Go inside me high. He holds me while I found safety in the master's arms. While riding through the storm, I have no fear of the raging sea, knowing that Jesus is there with me. He can speak to the wind and the waves and make it behave. All power in his hand. Won't feel on dry land. I found safety in the master's arms while riding through the storm. I again just want to come and thank the church again for praying for me as I go through my situation. I want to be able to finish chemo last Thursday. That's one thing everybody can take. Calls and everything give me a lot of oh yeah.
Amen. So you got chemo, you got something else you got to do? Okay. Oh, that's it.
And I find out there.
Okay.
So, catch up with you.
All right. So we can take this one off there. Let's show the pictures of love and family of our Father. To be have a good relationship with God that will be respected among other people in the community and most of all our children, so we can share with them. That's a challenge for any father. And our worship was good today. All you. What we do on third Sunday, I think your brother, she didn't get the email. The youth supposed to do all our service on third Sunday, and including the singing. So next third Sunday, the choir will still be in there, but only youth lead song. Okay. So the senior corps, we go back to second Sunday. We don't want to take our y'all do a great job. So we're doing everything, trying to let you do everything. With some of our to get them more participation and say, and that's a money. So I think it's called, it's going to be our announcer. So we can get a couple of them. So from 1 hour, we can just take up. So, more than one. So let's give us our attention.
My name is Linda Perry, and I will be doing announcement. Vacation Bible School, June 17th through 20th. See Sister Jenkins, Sister Spinks, or Sister Perry for more details. Time will be from 5 p.m. through 8 p.m. Church annual will be next Sunday, June 23rd, 2019, at 11 a.m. At this time, you may pay your church annual commitment when thou vowest a vow unto God, defer not to pay, for he has no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed, better is it that thou shouldest not vow than that thou shouldest vow and not pay. Retreat will be August 3 through 4, 2019. More information coming soon. Now we doing birthdays. We have Rashad, Kurt, Jordan, Jasmine Moden, Amber Sanders, Stacy Sanders, Victor Scott, Karen Franklin, and Pastor Sanders.
They're the big gifts. And you can do mine.
This is no ordinary day, this is your day to be special. Happy birthday from Pastor Sanders and New Morning Fire Baptist Church family. We love and appreciate you. God thinks you're God thinks you're special. He's not the only one. Have a very happy birthday from Pastor Sanders and New Morning Star Baptist Church family. We love and appreciate you. On your birthday, life and adventure, so we don't know how, God will direct us from where we stand now. We need only to trust Him to show us the way, and He will reveal it in love day by day. May He who gives more than we could ever ask or think make your birthday more than you could ever hope for. God bless you on your birthday. From Pastor Sanders and New Morning Star Baptist Church family. We love and appreciate you.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen. Real good, right? Huh? Yeah, we have some visitors. I know we have. Any visitors? 2 of them. All right, thank you so much. Let's show us some love for coming by. Thank you. Yeah. let's go. Our vacation box will start tomorrow. So have your children here. If you need a ride, we got 2 vans out there. So if you get off late, you want to get your children here early, just get with James or Joe Bella, one of them, so we can make sure we have the transportation. Because we got 2 vans, we should make enough drivers to get to that bird. Some of them retired, parts of the time, anyway, so they flexible their time. So let's be willing to support that and get our children here so they have up to that time. Start tomorrow. Okay. Next Sunday, we don't have to cook. We're going to have not only sticking to the rib, we're going to have rib and chicken. So 5:30. That way they won't be late if it's not 5:30 starts. And that's good to correct that because no one of the parents drop their children off at the set of my house. Wait up, so thanks for the explanation. Nothing else. We're going to have our speaker give our benediction. Let us. She has something. Oh, she said the house of our Father go in the back, and we got something called Father back there. Our Father go in the back and have something for the Father. All right, we're gonna fill up the church next Sunday. All right, maybe go back home and tell all the ones, your family members, friends. We're gonna celebrate 70 years. 70 years. Your pastor and your church, 70 years old, big ceremony. I know Betty's gonna be here because she's glad we'll be in the same decade with her. But just look to all the fathers and say, Happy Father's Day. Reach out and touch somebody's hand.
Reach out and touch
somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. If you can, reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. If you can.
Until we meet again, let us continue to grow in the grace and the knowledge of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. To him be the glory both now and forever. Let us all say, Amen.